What's up, everyone? Matt Savoca here from the Stochastic Fantasy Football channel, and we are talking waiver wire for Week 5. This is a tough week because we had a ton of injuries in the NFL to key players. First, the scary moment to Tua Tagovailoa on Thursday. We got to get to that, and then a ton of running back injuries. Cordero Patterson's on IR. Jonathan Taylor may miss this week. Javonte Williams of the Denver Broncos, season-ending injury. There's a lot to get into. The Bills' offense lost some key players as well. So we've got everything you need right here on the Stochastic Fantasy Football channel. First, we've got players that you got to check if they're rostered because they're rostered in most fantasy leagues, but they may have been dropped in yours. Then we got the top ads that are going to be available in most every league, and then some deeper league options as well. Some $0, $1 bids you can make if you're in a deeper league. We got everything for you, and we've also got a great offer from our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Check the link in the video description below or use promo code Stochastic to get up to a $100 first match deposit bonus over there where you play best ball tournaments and win huge prizes. Just draft your team, win. They got the best ball resurrection tournament starting in week 6. So if your season-long fantasy teams are struggling or your summer best ball teams aren't doing well, get into the action today. Starts week 6. Only $10 entry could win you $100,000. Use promo code Stochastic today. Okay, let's get into the waiver wire action for week 5. First and foremost, you need to check if the Indianapolis Colts running back Nyheim Hines has been dropped by anyone. I was surprised to see that on only 62% of leagues right now is he rostered on a team. I know it's a tough matchup, a quick turnaround against Denver, but he should see plenty of volume against the Broncos this Thursday should Jonathan Taylor miss, which I suspect at this point. He will split work in between the tackles carries with Deion Jackson in the rushing game, but the volume should be there in a way it simply hasn't previously. He actually has ran less routes this year than Jonathan Taylor, who they tried their very best, and they will continue to try when healthy to make a bell cow running back. But Hines, this week only, has running back 2 volume value, and he could be available in your league. Next, look for Washington Commanders rookie Brian Robinson. They said this week that Brian Robinson will, quote, start his clock on getting back onto the field. He's got bell cow opportunity in Washington once he does hit the field because neither J.D. McKissic nor Antonio Gibson are separating themselves. Robinson appeared to have the inside track as an every down player prior to his injuries at the end of training camp and that unfortunate event, and he's back against a possible Tennessee defense that looked improved against Indianapolis, but still ranks well below average against the run. I think this is a clear volume situation, only rostered on 54% of leagues. Robinson may have been dropped by a running back needy team already. Make sure you check it out. Same thing with quarterback Jared Goff. His quarterback finishes pending Monday Night Football in week 4. Quarterback 18, quarterback 8, quarterback 18, quarterback 1. Lions have a terrible defense, and that is helping Jared Goff because even without players like Swift, like DJ Chark, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and not even with Jamison Williams, their first-round pick on the field at all yet, Jared Goff still has clear QB1 overall potential. I'm surprised as anyone by it, and the defense certainly helps things, but if you need a quarterback like Tua's out or Daniel Jones is out for you, especially in a 1 QB league, Goff still could be out there. He's only rostered in 52% of leagues. And unsurprisingly, this number has skyrocketed over the last 2 weeks, but Michael Gallup in 30% of leagues still out there. Go ahead and check it out because the Cowboys are getting quarterback Dak Prescott back as early as this week. And Michael Gallup in his first game back looked not only highly involved and highly explosive, but he caught a touchdown as well. They need skill position help for the Dallas Cowboys, and Michael Gallup is here in just the nick of time. Possible he's out there for your league. Let's get to the top ads as well. Players who will most likely be available and are my highest bid candidates this week. My top priority player after those aforementioned players who are likely rostered in most leagues, it's Tyler Allgeier of the Atlanta Falcons. The running back will certainly split carries with Caleb Huntley in the backfield while Cordero Patterson rehabs his knee injury, but we saw Allgeier have double the snaps of Huntley and run 8 more routes. That means he's the higher priority pick for me, but I do have to mention that he was outtouched at the goal line 3-0 by Huntley. Now, it's a very, very small sample size, but it does appear that Huntley may be the short yardage guy here. I'd rather have the pass catching back for a team that has been fairly explosive offensively. You're going to get some pretty decent RB2 value, I believe, out of Tyler Allgeier the next few weeks. And then after that, I'll go with Mike Boone. Mike Boone was getting snaps for the Denver Broncos at running back even before Javonte Williams got injured. Kind of inexplicable, and I think it speaks to how low this coaching staff is on Melvin Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon is banged up himself and lost a key fumble, ended up with negative fantasy points this week, and I'm sure they'll have to use Gordon more, assuming he's able to be on the field. But Mike Boone does have an inside track to serious playing time rest of season. If you wanted to put Boone ahead of Allgeier, I would get it. I just think that Gordon still out-touches Boone at the end of the day here. So I have Boone slightly behind Allgeier in my rest of season rankings. I just don't have any faith in Melvin Gordon. I'm not trying to trade for them. And honestly, this Denver offense, yeah, they'll look good against horrible defenses like Las Vegas, but I'm not sold yet. I'm making this my number 2 priority. Still way up there, obviously, with Williams out for the year, but I still think Gordon gets heavily involved, making Boone an RB2 on his own team. At the wide receiver position, George Pickens certainly looked like the real deal in week 4. Pickett to Pickens looks like it's going to be a thing for sure this year. I'm sure the Steelers organization is stirring today about starting Kenny Pickett rest of season. He definitely gave them a spark against the Jets, albeit in a loss. It may have been a matchups thing last week, but on Pickens' 76% route participation rate, he saw a 30% target share for the Steelers. He outproduced Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and Najee Harris. You have my attention, George Pickens. He could have a fantastic rest of season value, assuming the Steelers do go with Pickett. It's a subpar offense, a subpar situation, and he looks like a wide receiver 3 on his own team. But Pickens, currently rostered in just 39% of leagues, is absolutely worth an ad. He is my top wide receiver ad this week. And if you lose out on the George Pickens sweepstakes, I don't hate Corey Davis rest of season. Looks like Zach Wilson is going to utilize all 3 of Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, and Corey Davis, as well as Breece Hall in the passing game, by the way. But I don't mind placing a $1 to $5 bid on Corey Davis. I don't think it's going to take all that much to get him. And he led the Jets' big 3 in targets per route run and was second in total targets last week. This offense looked a little bit different with Zach Wilson under center against Pittsburgh, as we expected, but Corey Davis had some huge plays, caught a touchdown, and I think he will outproduce Elijah Moore rest of season. Now, they'll go back and forth, and Garrett Wilson certainly isn't going anywhere either, the impressive rookie, but Corey Davis is worth an ad. He's only rostered in 25% of leagues right now. If you're looking for a tight end, my first choice would be Robert Tonyan of the Green Bay Packers, just rostered on 32% of leagues right now. Packers aren't supplying a ton of fantasy goodness this year, not like previous years at all, and still, Robert Tonyan is in a part-time role. He only ran about 11 more snaps last week than the tight end 2, and only a few more than the tight end 3 on the team, just 32 snaps total, but he did run 21 routes on those 32 snaps and was targeted on 20% of all Aaron Rodgers throws last Sunday. He caught a 20-yard touchdown as well, and in a tight end wasteland, which is the bottom of the barrel at the tight end position this year, you could do worse than Tonyan's volume and TD potential with Aaron Rodgers. He's a low-end tight end 1 against a porous New York Giants defense this Sunday. It's not great, it's not pretty, but you could do way worse than Robert Tonyan. And if you need a dart throw at the same position, Taysom Hill, still just rostered in 29% of leagues. Again, he didn't even get a target against the Minnesota Vikings, but he's tight end eligible, he gets rushing snaps, and he gets goal line rushing snaps. That's what we're looking for from dart throw tight ends. TD upside, and that's what he's got. The Saints need playmakers with many of their veteran skill position players banged up. This is obviously a long shot. This is barely tight end 2 material, but he's essentially free in most leagues, and he gets unique opportunity compared to the rest of the tight end position. I like Tonyan better, but as a $0 to $2 bid, depending on how deep your league is at tight end, I don't hate Taysom Hill rest of season. And if you're looking for a 1-week rental defense, how about the New York Jets? Obviously, they had a situation where Kenny Pickett comes in as a backup, first time playing in the NFL, but they capitalized. They get a couple of interceptions, actually 4 total interceptions while giving up 297 yards, the second lowest total yardage they've given up all season, and a solid 13 fantasy point outing. Obviously, the turnovers will help you. They've had 2+ sacks in 2 straight games. Obviously, this isn't a top-tier defense at all, but facing a Teddy Bridgewater-led Miami Dolphins team, they could absolutely struggle, and the Jets, hey, they look a little bit improved. I've mentioned 2 Jets already in this same video, so Again, this is in the you could do worse category. We're certainly not spending a ton of fab budget, but the Jets against a backup quarterback makes a whole lot of sense to me in week 5. And that's going to do it, guys. Those are my top waiver wire ads for week 5 in the 2022 fantasy regular season. Man, this season is blazing by, so make sure to get in those bids and make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you get all the information you need to take down those championships this year. Until next time, I'm Matt Savoca from Stokastic.com. We'll see you guys later.